Sorry, I just ate some eggs, so I want to make sure that eggs don't come out flying from my mouth. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It's Tuesday. It's a beautiful day here in California, especially in Newport Coast. My God, so pretty. I went to the beach this morning and he was gorgeous. Gorgeous. And also, by the way, I went to test drive the Lucid Gravity, which is the SUV for the Lucid brand. I'm blown away by that shit. I have some notes that I wish I knew someone at Lucid, like I know people in other car companies, to make it perfection. It's like such little fucking tiny things, but it's so good. What really took me and blew me away, and this goes beyond that I'm investing in Lucid, I went to see if what I'm doing makes sense. Okay. And then once I got in there, I was like, oh my God, I kind of need this fucking thing. And I hate myself for it. I do, because Alejandro 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, whatever version of this Alejandro that it is, supposed to live a simple life. Doesn't need anything. But God, do I want that. But I also should not want things. But goddamn, that was cool. So what exactly caught my attention before I get into the dollar and all that good stuff for you guys? So if there's any car guys floating around here, you can hear some car-related stuff before we jump into the dollar. And I want to remind you guys, if you guys are watching my videos and it gives you any sort of fear, anxiety, or hate, it's not about not comments or anything like that. It's just I never want to make you feel that way. And if I'm making you feel any of those feelings, don't tune in. This is not for views. This is just for fun. And that's all it is. Okay. So I want you all to just be happy, have a good time, listen to someone say stupid shit, and just take it for what it is. It's just some random dude online telling me fucking things that I don't care for. So there we go. Okay. So what I really liked about the Lucid Gravity, it feels solid, dude. Like you get in that car and everything in the interior feels really solid. I love Rivian. Obviously, Tesla's really good. But Tesla's very simple, minimalistic, and also everybody knows like their little quirks and, lack of finesse, if you will. With Rivian, you get more of a Range Rover type of feeling, right? That's kind of what you're getting out of a Rivian. I really like it. But with Lucid, the way everything feels heavy, everything feels solid. And that goes along with what an S-Class felt back in 2020. When they were nice and it didn't feel like plasticky bullshit. Like most cars, even if you buy an EQS from Mercedes or an SQS, whatever the fuck they are, like all these electric cars, they all feel like you're driving a old C300 from like 2018. That's how they all feel, like the interior and all that shit. The accelerator, everything about it is just ugh. But this Lucid was so fucking good. All the materials were so premium quality. I was blown away. Honestly, blown away. I love the screens. Everything is very simple to understand. I do like the minimalistic approach that Tesla has more, but there's plenty of here to have fun. Now, sound system was not that great compared to the Tesla, for example, which is mind-boggling that the Tesla has such an incredibly good sound system. But what really blew me away, aside from like the solidness and how good everything feels, like all the buttons that you touch on the Lucid, the steering wheel, was the interior was so nice. And even though it's a big kind of SUV, doesn't feel big when you're driving it. And at the same time, it feels like a sports car, but it has so much room inside. It kind of blew me away looking back and looking at how many people you can sit in the back of that fucking thing. It makes no sense. It's kind of like black magic, not black dick, black magic. It's very different. I don't know what you guys are thinking. You make me say these things. It's not like I want to say that. You make me say these things. So I really like that. And the other thing I absolutely adored was there's something about my Tesla that no other electric car can do, which is the feel of when you accelerating the car is so good on a Tesla because it's instant, it's direct, it feels strong. The moment that you step on it, that's the moment that you get the power. And in a Rivian, you're like, you have to like kind of feather it to get it going and feel that. And that's a big thing that I don't like about Rivian, which I wish they could calibrate better, if you will, which is the feeling that you get. I feel like I'm driving a gas car. And I know, for example, Belen loves that. I think it's this. Yeah. I think it's the stupidest thing ever. I don't like it at all. And on the Lucid, it feels like the Tesla, but like premium, like strong. It was so good, guys. I like the three styles of drive. What I'd recommend to Lucid is one, if you're going to deal with the stock, like to park and all that shit, and you're not going to put it on the screen, which by the way, it's way better. It feels so much better. I love the steering wheel on the Lucid too. Leave it, but think about this. Every time I'm in my Tesla and I want to switch lanes, I just put the blinker, I switch lanes and it stops. So now I'm accustomed to that. I'm used to that shit. So that's kind of like what I would like to see. I know Rivian is trying to do it and it doesn't always work. So they're getting better at it. I think Lucid needs to do that 100%. I think they need to focus on that. I think they need to also focus on the steering feel. Like, give me more options on the steering feel. I like it in the hardest setting. The suspension is incredible on the Lucid. And I want to have the ability to pick what suspension, what power, and what steering, like separately. Give me the pre-made modes, of course, but also give me these other options. It's just software, dude. I'm not asking for crazy shit. And the other little thing was the cameras. When you're turning, just like in a Tesla, you have like the views right here. And I put it to the right, and I see the right camera right here on my dash. Looks good. Looks better than the Rivian, but not better than the Tesla. You can do better at that. And that's it. If you can improve the sound system and those little things, dude, that's a weapon. I really liked it. I was blown away because I don't like the sandwich car. The sandwich car is just like the regular sedan that they have, right? Where it's the Air or the Sapphire or all these bullshit things that they have. This was right. It goes from 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds, which is plenty. And then afterwards, you get even more torque in the power band when we're talking like 60 to 80 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour. It's pretty good. So really dig. I literally loved it. And I drove one that's green, like olive green, dark olive green, stealth package with a brown interior. And now that I'm old, I like that shit. So I want to take Belen to drive one. I do. I don't need this, but I do. I don't know how to explain this. Either way, I already burnt 8 minutes of your time. So let's get to the fucking point. We're talking about the US dollar, everybody. And remember, everything that I'm here talking about, it's probably not going to make a lot of sense if you guys just watch traditional finance, guys, if you just went to traditional school. And the reason why is if any of those finance people that are on YouTube or on TV or on the news that you were hearing from, or even the Federal Reserve and all these people gave you an edge on with their insights, everyone would be rich on the market. No one would ever lose money. And the thing is, it's designed to do that, right? You want to always go against the grain when it comes to financials, to the economy and to anything like that. You want to go against the grain. You want to step away from the news. Don't listen to that bullshit and just ask around. Remember, the economy is the study of how people spend or not spend their money and how they use it. The economy is not the study of official data from the government, which by the way, keeps changing, just like their opinions on Twitter, right? No one needs that. No one needs that. So it's very important for you to understand that I come from that. I also come from a place where I understand the market is completely rigged. It moves according to large funds, like the biggest ones in the world. So every opportunity that is very obvious should not be taken. Those that are not obvious and go against everyone's beliefs are the ones that we want to take. So let's get into this. Right now, there's a big thing that everyone is asking for. Everybody's asking for rate cuts. They want the interest rates to come down. That means the money becomes cheaper. That means if you're getting a loan for $100,000, instead of paying $7,000 just on the loan alone a year, you want to be paying $3,000. That's a much more comfortable place. And that obviously benefits cars, that benefits houses, and all these things. So I want to talk about that dynamic because a lot of people are about to make a big mistake. Big mistake. You don't want to make this mistake. You definitely don't. I don't like making mistakes, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. But I make the most beautiful mistakes. So it's very important to know that. Okay. Okay. Where should I start? I'm sure. So let's start with the narrative because I always approach this. I used to approach this from the eyes of the economy and an economist, but I think that's stupid. The way that I'm approaching this now, which has worked out great for me and it's made me an incredible, I am a very good investor. And I don't want to be like, but I am a very good investor and I'm getting very good at trading. And the reason why is I stopped looking at the market like everyone else. I started looking at the market just like from the marketing point of view of things. So the news, the narratives, whatever everyone is saying on YouTube, like these financial experts, that's the narrative that they want everyone on. That's not reality. That's a story they're selling you. You have to understand that. So now everybody is saying that the US dollar is going to disappear and it's going to go to zero and crypto is going to be everything and gold is going to be everything. Do you guys understand how stupid that is? While the dollar is absolutely weak right now, this is what I've been preaching for. And I said, we're going to see a lot of videos of people saying the dollar is going to zero and it's going to disappear. Once we see that, we're very close to the bottom of the dollar. Okay. And what happens when the dollar shoots up? Stocks go down like a motherfucker. You have to know that. It's very important to understand that. Okay. Now, as everyone is telling you that the dollar is going to disappear and it's going to go to zero, the reason why it's very stupid to think that is, think about it like this. You have in your house a machine, a printer. You have a printer like your Hewlett-Packard printers, right? HP, I'm sorry. I don't know how old you guys are. So let's go with an HP printer. And imagine that printer can print all the money that you want, right? All the money that you want. You pay your bills with it. You need fucking $50,000 to buy a car. Boop, 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 boop. You print it and then you have it. And you've done this all of your life. All of your existence, you've had this printer. And now you yourself, the owner of the printer, the US, is telling everyone, oh, the dollar is going to crash. It's going to go to zero. It's going to be worthless compared to Bitcoin and compared to fucking gold and all these things. The dollar is going to go to zero. That's what everyone's saying, including the official government officials. That's what they're telling you in the news, and that's what they're telling you on YouTube. And on TikTok, I'm sure a lot of you guys watch fucking that mental poison TikTok. And the reality of this is the United States and the people in charge that own that printer that you own in your house that can print all the money that you want to pay for anything that you need, the people that own that would be absolutely mentally retarded at a level that I can't explain to you how stupid they would be to give away the right to be able to print money out of their assholes and turn it into anything they want. That's a superpower. And they're selling everybody. Everybody right now, you ask, they'll tell you the dollar's going to zero. The dollar's going to lose it's going to lose its position in the world and it's going to not be used. That's one story. The reason why a lot of those people back up that theory is because no one wants to buy US dollar debt. And now, just to simplify this, what is a bond? It's an IOU that the government writes you. So you loan money to the government. Let's say I have $1 million. Here's $1 million, US government. And the US government is going to give me an IOU, a note. That note that says IOU is a bond. And that bond is going to pay me a certain rate. So it says, so I'm the US government. You're loaning me money, Alejandro. You're loaning me $1 million. I'm going to give you 5% if you loan me this money for 10 years every year. So that's basically safe money, right? Because the US can print it out of their asshole and they can just put it in your account. Doesn't require a genius to understand that. So what everybody right now is riled up is no one wants, and for you to make any dollar and print any dollar, you also need to sell debt attached to it. You cannot just print a $50 bill. There needs to be $50 in debt also that someone buys, and that's what gets you your $50, basically. okay? To understand it simply. And if you don't understand this, please leave it in the comments below. I'm never going to read them, but just leave it in the comments below. Just being completely honest. I don't give a fuck about this. So you need that debt. And what's been happening is everywhere around the world, people like countries have always purchased US debt, right? To having their reserves. And what everyone is complaining right now is that the US is printing so much money that no one wants to buy its debt anymore. And we have $35 billion worth, $35 trillion worth of debt, national debt, right? So the US is in debt. And people think they're going to continue to pile up that debt without ever paying it, which, by the way, we owe it to ourselves. So let's start from there, which is not totally relevant in this, but whatever. So there are other people funding our debts. We're giving them their IOUs and all that shit, right? Other countries. And now other countries are saying, fuck that. I'm just going to buy gold and put it in my central bank. Now, you have to remember, why the fuck did we move off the gold standard in the first place in the United States and everywhere in the world? Because you cannot print more money. You can only print whatever gold backs, and that's it. So if you have economic growth that is accelerated, you can't just print more money because now you have gold standards. So that means you need to get more gold out of the ground, more, in order for you to be able to create more money, right? Does that sound like something the United States is willing to do? No, absolutely not. The gold thing is a separate thing and it'll be used in a different way. And I don't want to get into that crazy shit because it is absolutely crazy. So forget about that. But right now, the big narrative is no other country, Japan, Europe, no one wants to buy US bonds. No one wants to buy our debt. No one wants to get our IOUs. So the dollar is going to go to zero because they keep printing a lot of money. Now, every country is printing a lot of money. Every country. And they have to pay most of their debts and most of their trades in dollars. Okay? So it's absolutely fucking retarded that people say that the dollar is going to disappear. That's one. Two, debt. Let's talk about that for a little bit. No one wants to buy your debt, Alejandro. That's the problem, right? Even though every country is printing a lot of money, for some reason, the dollar is the one getting all of the heat right now, which is what I was expecting at the beginning of this year. Okay. So the dollar is getting all the heat right now because they're creating this narrative that the dollar is going to go to zero so that you stay in stocks, so that you stay in Bitcoin, so that you stay in gold. That's the way this works. Right now, everyone that has gold and has purchased gold in the past years, like in the past, is positive. Everyone that purchased Bitcoin in the past, unless you bought the $120-something thousand top, is positive. Everyone that bought any sort of stocks, kind of positive for the most part, unless you bought Lucid before we did. It's positive for the most part, right? Like the indexes and all this shit. Good. Do you think that's what the US wants? Do you think that's what the market is giving you? And you got to look at it like this. The market is something that lures you in to fuck you out of your money. And very few people are good at this because when they want to fuck you out of your money, they'll throw the biggest fears that you could possibly create in your head at you so that you go, this is going to go lower. They haven't done that. Right now, they're selling you on the idea that gold, Bitcoin, and stocks are never coming down in price, okay? Now, the US government and the myth and the stupidity from everyone telling you that no one wants to buy our debt, it's by design. Why? We created something called the Genius Act for crypto, which states that Amazon, Meta, Google, any major company in the United States can create their own stable coin, right? Digital dollars. And the way that they can fund this is by buying all that debt that no one wants. So officially what the United States has already done, and it's already moving, is they said, fuck depending on all of y'all to buy my debt, we can buy it ourselves through the biggest companies ever, technology, banks, whatever you can imagine. The biggest banks in the world, JP Morgan Chase, with $2 trillion in worth liquid deposits, The stock market, which is being tokenized so that you have to back it and go into it through digital dollars. And why are they doing that? Because there's $50 trillion in value in the stock market. The real estate market is all going to be digitized, and all of the transactions will happen online on blockchain, probably Ethereum. And that means there's another $50 trillion worth of liquidity coming into that sector. So there's $120 trillion that we have right now available today at today's market, available to be able to absorb those $35 trillion and then whatever else the government spends. So the myth that no one's buying our debt, it's kind of true, but it's not true. It's true that we are not relying on other people buying our debt. It's true that we want to keep it within the US and give it to the big companies. What is the benefit for big companies like Amazon and all these guys to do this? Their benefit is simple. They upfront the money. Let's say I need to buy $1 billion worth of bonds because I'm going to put $1 billion worth of stable coins on the market. That means when shoppers go on Amazon.com and they want to buy anything, and remember, Amazon moves, I believe it's $120 billion every 3 months, right? 120 billion every 3 months around their platform. So that means that Amazon is going to pre-buy $120 billion worth of bonds. Then all of the customers are going to come in, transfer their regular dollars into Amazon dollars. The benefit to the user is prices will come down just based on using that system, because you don't have to deal with Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and third parties. So basically, you're getting a 3% discount on all of your purchases if you have Amazon dollars, right? 3 to 5%, that's going to be the savings, like just with this. So you're going to take it. You're going to give Amazon your dollars. And what Amazon is going to do is going to repay itself for buying all those bonds. And now the benefit to Amazon, this is an IOU from the government, so it's going to pay you a certain amount of interest, right? The reason why we've been creating a lot of debt at high interest rates is the Genius Act doesn't allow, or doesn't right now allow, for these companies to buy new debt, but it allows for them to buy outstanding debt so they can acquire this shit, okay? That means all of these loans that are paying 5% right now, they're going to absorb and they're going to take them because they're going to make that 5% for nothing, for literally nothing. So that's their benefit. This is how the US dollar problem gets solved. The US debt and the US dollar problem gets completely solved. No one talks about this. It's the craziest thing in the world, but yet no one is willing to talk about it. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Right now, everybody wants interest rates to come down, right? The first question you have to ask yourself is why? According to everyone, the US economy is so strong. Well, that's just the narrative that you're following. That's just, those are just the numbers the people that write the numbers are giving you, so you can say that. But when you talk to all of your friends, no one can afford anything. They're all broke. They can't get a loan for a house. They cannot afford a new house. They cannot afford a new car. They can't afford shit. They're in massive amounts of debt right now. Credit card debt, which, by the way, it's like 26, 29% yearly rate on those loans, credit card debt. Then there's also corporate loans. They made everyone get into debt at a high rate of debt, at a high rate, at a high interest rate. So they pay the most. They want to fuck everyone over right now. That's what they're doing. So at the beginning of the year, we had the tariff threat. They told everybody, you own a business, what you want to do right now, and this is the government telling you, and remember, the government doesn't want to help you. The government is here to play the game against you, and you got to be thankful for that, because the smart ones will grow and become bigger when you figure this out. The government and Jerome Powell and no one on TV is there to help you. They're there to confuse you. It's very important. Now, the people on YouTube, they're trying to help you, but they're retarded. I wish there was more than that. They're absolutely mentally retarded because they all get economic information and data from the government, from news sources, which is related to the government. That means they're giving you fake numbers. And when everyone's like, the economy's so strong, you'll look around and then you see your friends that are broke as fuck in a massive amount of debt. They cannot afford a brand new car. They cannot afford a brand new house. They can't afford anything. But yet the economy is strong, according to those people. So that's the myth, the number one myth. The reason why I've been able to predict this years of economic and also the stock market and crypto downturns and upturns is just simply because I'm not listening to any of them. I'm just watching what they're doing and what they're trying to sell as a marketer. So when the United States goes out and tells every business, dude, you got to go and buy inventory right now. And every business owner is stuffed in inventory up to their fucking neck because they can't sell it anymore because no one's buying because everyone's broke. They made all those retards, because that's what they are, with all due respect. They made all those retarded business owners buy more inventory, even though they couldn't get rid of the inventory that they had under the promise that costs would keep the same instead of going up, right? Which, by the way, it's true what they're saying. But it's stupid that you see that your inventory is completely stocked up, and you're going to buy more. Insane. That's insanity. In 2020, I made a big decision before anybody else when we were doing our mezcal company, right? And I said, what we need to do right now is go buy as much mezcal as we can, as many bottles as we can, and as many corks as we can. And the same thing with the water. We need to buy 1 million fucking cans right now. But dude, we haven't produced a single one. We need to fucking get on this because everyone is going to try to do the same thing afterwards. No one told you guys. And when I did that, everyone told me that I was a retard. Guess who didn't have to up their prices at all in any other products? And now that they're telling you, hey, you should buy this, you somewhat think that this is true. All right. So they already made businesses make a big mistake. Then they started going after the consumer, the regular retard that lives next to your house like me. And they said, dude, the prices of cars are going to go up. You better go get your Ford right now. And Ford came out and made commercials. Before with our tariff prices go up again and everything becomes expensive, we're giving you a family discount, because everybody knows car dealerships are so kind to their customers. Everybody knows that, right? No. So Ford promised. Jim Farley, with his fat face, came out and said, God bless him, I'm trying to be a better person, but I can't. It's just in me. It's my little monkey doesn't allow me. But when I'm off the monkey, I can't. But right now, I'm the monkey and I need to do this. And the monkey's the one taking this. So you got to understand. You have to understand. That's it. Okay. So Jim Farley and his fat fucking face went out there and told everyone that prices were going to go up and the customer was going to have to eat the tariffs, not them. Right after he did the employee discount for everyone, he went and did the 000 thing. 0 down, 0 payment for 3 months, and 0 something else. And 0 APR on the loan. That's a big discount on the car. Does that sound like the prices went up? No. And if you go to a Ford dealership right now, that's completely stacked of cars. Are they going, the prices going up? No. But Jim Farley promised you that they would. So what did they see? They saw an insane amount of people going and buying out of fear. This is what they're trying to do. This is why it's been so easy to read the market. Then after that, they told everyone the EV tax credits are going to go out. So everyone, a Model Y that I've been looking at for a long time, you could get it the same day, basically, like a month ago, 2 months ago. Now, because the EV credit is coming and tariffs and all that shit, you best go buy your fucking EV right now, right? So Tesla now has a 2-month wait if you order a Model Y right now. And the same thing happens with Rivian. The same thing happens with every electric. That means everyone that's been sitting on the sidelines, being patient and saying, I'm going to wait. The market's coming down. I'm going to wait. They made him not wait. And they made him get into loans that are this valuable, like high as fucking interest rates, right? Or at a high as fuck price where the loan will never be able to be repaid and won't make sense. And I'll get to that in a second. So they do all these things. They also tell people in the watch world, no one's buying watches. They're not moving. So they tell everyone, dude, look at the tariffs on a Rolex from Switzerland. They're now 44%. You better go buy your watch right now before they go. And every retard goes and buys the watch. What they officially did is made everyone that was waiting for lower prices go spend right now. And as I told you before, we live in an opposite world, and the funniest scenario will always play out. What would be the funniest scenario, right? When everyone thinks right now that they're so fucking smart for buying their products before prices go up, that prices go down. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's about to happen. Because all of these sectors that have seen the threat of the tariff prices going up, the EV credits, whatever, after they're done for a quarter, no one's buying anymore because their whole demand for a year is gone. Everyone that was planning on buying one of those things for a year, like a year out, already bought them. So right now, Tesla's having the best quarter, and they're going to have an incredible quarter, monster quarter. Same with Lucid, same with Rivian, and all of those guys. But afterwards, they're going to have the shittiest quarter of their entire lifetime because everybody that needed a car already bought it this quarter, right? And now, here comes the interesting thing. Everybody thinks that the Federal Reserve, if you learn anything by the book, I've never learned anything by the book. I've learned everything just by doing it, watching, understanding how it works, and then just doing it. And no, it doesn't make me better than everyone else, but it makes me understand those sectors better than the people that study them. Because if you're learning from these people, you're reading their books, you're reading their rules, you have to work within that reality square that they've created for you. And one of those things right now for any economist that will, and a lot of people will say that this is crazy. The Federal Reserve does not control rates at all. At all. Anything that you think Jerome Powell is going to come out and tell you and whatever, it's absolute fucking stupid horseshit. And I have proof. Who is the one in charge then, Alejandro, of the interest rates? The bank cartels. The biggest banks in the United States are the ones that dictate what the interest rate will be, not the Federal Reserve. And the thing is, they're so in your face, they don't care that you see it. Because the little book says the Federal Reserve is separate from the government and has no political views, and it's an independent organization. No, it's not. The shareholders of the Fed are the biggest banks in the United States. And instead of calling it the bank cartels, because that sounds fucked up, they made a little stupid organization where they can distract everyone and make him put attention to that area. Oh, what is Jerome Powell going to do? No one knows. He's looking at the data. It's absolutely retarded. And anyone that takes Jerome Powell seriously, he's a fucking retard. And I know that because I used to take him seriously. And I was retarded. And I'm still retarded in many other ways, but not in this one. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you what I'm talking about right now. Let me show you on a little chart. Promise you it's going to be simple. Promise it's going to be simple. Right? Let's go into a 2-week chart. Let's update this bullshit and do this. You guys remember last year, 2024, September, what happened? The Federal Reserve cut rates 3 times around those dates. First, 0.5%, then 0.25%, and then 0.25% for a total of 1%. You know when they did it? Here. That means this should have gone down. But guess what? He didn't. What he did was this. Go up all the way to 4.8%. How can you explain that? Jerome Powell, with his magic little words, told everyone that interest rates were coming down. How is there a discrepancy here? I wonder. I wonder why. Because that was a trick. That was a trick for everyone to think at that rate, they got the lower rates and spent more money. And also to get people used to the idea, this is important because this is something that they do repeatedly. They want to get used to the idea of something happening over and over again. So right now, Jerome Powell is about to cut rates again. He hasn't done it yet. The rates have come down, right? To here, to the 4% mark. Already, he hasn't done it. But the markets are pricing it in. They're saying, yep, interest rates are coming down so far. That's what we're seeing right now on the chart. And now, for this to really matter, you really need to drop down to here first, 3.7%. Once you're here, we can really talk about this being a valid theory. It's not a valid theory. It'll happen eventually. We just don't know when. It's really hard to time this shit, right? But right now, what they want people to believe is they're going to cut rates again, and they're not going to come down. The same thing that happened here is going to happen again. They want you all to fall for the same bullshit over and over and over and over again. But this is something, because we do trading, there's a lot of people that come and ask us, like, hey, can you show me this chart? I'm curious. This is a company called Open Door Technologies. For those of you who don't understand what Open Door does, Open Door basically does transactions of selling and buying homes online. And they've been fucking going down like a motherfucker. You guys see it from here in 2021 all the way to down here, right? So they've gone down basically 99% in their stock value. And now I'm sure there's a lot of you guys who are watching this and saying, huh, so what's this? Let me just delete this. These are targets for something. So that you don't get distracted. Fuck, how many of these do I need? Okay. So what the fuck is this? The housing market is not moving right now. It's not. We have the lowest transactions in basically history in the real estate market. Transactions. When you look at prices, don't look at prices in real estate. Look at how many houses are being traded, basically. None. We are at the worst level ever. How the fuck is Open Door going up like this? And when you look at this number, it might not look crazy, but Open Door from down here up to here is up 1,350% in 6 weeks. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 weeks. In 2.5 months, this shit has done a 13x. 13x. Fuck Bitcoin. Open Door, right? And now, there's a lot of people that will say, dude, Open Door is a meme stock. Remember, they made you all believe in meme stocks. They did, to take your money away. And the reason why they did that is, and the reason why I can verify this is simple. Oh, the people from AMC, or what was the other one? GME. My God, the squeeze that hasn't been squozen. And it squoze on 2021. A bunch of Redditors, think about this stupidity. A bunch of people on Reddit got together and they made the price of it go up. How come Redditors can't do that anymore? And a lot of people are going to say, well, the funds now have things that, then you're talking about a market that's not really moving by the market. So that first move and that first showing was bullshit to make you fall for things. The market normally moves 6 months ahead of whatever's going to happen. This spike started in June, July, August, September, October, November, December. By December, if my theory is correct, December to the first quarter of the next year, house interest rates will have to drop. That's important. That means the housing market is going to move. It's going to start getting transactions done. That's good for Open Door. And now it's very important for you guys to understand what I'm about to tell you. What is the one thing everyone is expecting when interest rates drop? for house prices to go up or down? Up. For car prices to go up or down? Up. Why? Because of inflation. Now, this is another thing they trained all of you guys to think, that 2020 is just the norm. There is nothing here like 2020. In 2020, they printed 40% of all the money that existed, 40%, and gave it to us so that we can give it back to Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and all those people that became exatrillionaires because we're stupid and we spend all of our money. That is what caused inflation, nothing else. I don't care about any other thing that they told you. When you have so much money in the system and the same amount of fucking goods, prices are going to go up. It's very simple. That's inflation. Right now, lowering interest rates to an economy where all of your neighbors are broke as fuck and can't afford anything, all it's going to do is tighten up credit like it was in 2008. It's going to be cheap, but no one's going to qualify for loans because y'all fucked up your credit. You already have a fucking car payment that's astronomical. You all have a mortgage, and this is like what a lot of people did. This is the other funny thing. A lot of people bought a house in the past 3 years thinking, because they're realtors who are just there for the commission. These people are absolutely mentally retarded. What they do is open a house and then close the door while you walk in and you make up your mind. These people are absolutely retarded and have no interest whatsoever. Any idiot that you know has turned into a real estate guy. How many idiots do you know that went from like doing anything? I had a production assistant, God bless her. She's awesome. Not the brightest light in the sky. She's a realtor. Those are the people that are giving you real estate advice, that it's in their best interest for you to pay the most amount of money. It's so stupid. And those people are telling everyone, when interest rates come down, you're going to be thanking me because the prices are going to go sky high because of inflation. Okay. Well, here's the thing. Every person in the past 3 years that has purchased a home, that he's thinking, dude, I bought a house. I got it's not a fixed rate. It's the other, variable rate. And I front loaded like the discounted rate to the first 3 years. Year 4, they're going to start charging me the actual rate and then some, right? They're 7-8% loans on houses. But don't worry, you're going to be able to refi when interest rates come down because your house is going to be worth so much more and money's going to be cheap. Here's the thing. Everyone that owns a house, everyone is not a financial genius, doesn't know shit about the economy, and they're driven by their emotions. Everyone. I've been in the rental business I was for over a decade. And the reason why I avoided housing for the most part was because people are so emotional about the place where they live. They're unbearable to deal with. So you have a bunch of all these retards that think they know what they're talking about, that were promised that they're going to be able to refinance their house, their cars, buying these fucking car loans at 89 months. It's like the Evan Paul special without going to jail or whatever the fuck happened, right? Guess what's going to happen? The reason why we have the lowest amount of transactions right now in real estate and the car market is drying up in the used side is because no one can move out of their car or out of their house, because buying a newer one would cost so much more money right now because of interest rates. So even though the price of your house went up, if you sell it and want to get something comparable, you won't be able to due to the payment. Unless you're a cash buyer, that's a separate story. But everyone in America is fucking broke because they taught everyone to use credit. That's simple, right? So what's about to happen is interest rates seem like they're really going to drop between now and the first quarter of next year. It really does seem like that. And what's going to happen, in my advice, because these videos are for you to make money and for you to fucking absolutely kill it. They're not for you to be scared or anything. I want to put the truth in front of you. And if it's causing you any anxiety, any hate, any fear whatsoever, don't watch this. This is not the place for you. I promise you, and I mean it with my heart. What's about to happen to all those people is the following. Rates are going to come down. Think about this. Think about that you woke up today and the Federal Reserve announces, right, the way that they tell you that it works, that interest rates are now going to be at 3%. 3%. You can go buy a house for a 4% loan, right? You can do that. Everyone that's been holding off on selling their house because they cannot afford the payment on the new house is going to put their house for sale at the same time. What's been the trend lately in real estate that we've seen? The trend that we've seen in real estate is there's no transactions. Sellers are sticking to their prices. No one's buying. And now everyone is waiting for interest rates to drop so they can refi or get a new house so they can move the fuck out of the place that they moved during the fucking lockdowns and all that shit. When everyone puts, and also the other thing that's happening in real estate, which is important, is the inventory. A lot of you guys are sold on the idea that there's just no inventory. We need to build more houses, right? That's another lie that they're telling you. There's plenty of inventory. There's no inventory available because the people that have the inventory cannot buy a new house, even selling at the prices that they're at right now. But what have we seen, though, in most of the country? The average. There's some places that don't do this. There are some places that are extreme in this scenario. Inventory is exploding everywhere of people trying to sell their houses and they can't. So we're already at inventory levels pre-lockdowns, right? The moment that they lower interest rates, everyone's going to come up with a great idea of like, dude, I can go get the new car. I can go buy the new house. The people that are going to put their house on the market, this is what's going to happen. You need to be one of the first ones. One of the first ones. The moment that you see interest rates really dropping, you need to be the first motherfucker selling that house. Why? Because everyone is going to be as smart as you and think, oh, I'm going to sell my house now so I can get another one. They were saying that this was not going to happen. Everyone in the neighborhood is going to have a house for sale. Inventory is going to explode out of, like, you won't understand at what level. Inventory, and by the way, free real estate advice for everyone. Someone that's made millions over millions over millions over millions in real estate. Free. I want you guys to fucking kill it. I don't want you to be anxious and nervous about this stupid shit. It's really simple. Stop watching the news. Stop watching YouTubers. Stop watching TikTok. Stop watching anything related to this. It's common sense. Everyone on the block is going to have their house listed because they want to upgrade. And then the buyers are going to be like, whoa. Now there's too many options. I'm going to take my time and see what I want to get. And when that happens, people that are sitting on their homes are going to realize, dude, all of my neighbors are selling the house. And then all of a sudden, one of the neighbors down the street is going to lower her price 20%. And that house is going to sell. Instantly, there's going to be another person that instantly fears and says, dude, I'm going to put my house 20% down so that it can sell. And everyone is going to go one of these steps by step by step, lowering their house price. That's what identical to what happened in 2008. That's going to happen again. And the reason why it's going to happen again is because this is people's psychology. It hasn't changed. No one has learned anything. Nothing. You understand what I'm saying? It's very important to know that. And the same thing with cars. You're going to be able to go buy the new car that you want at a lower rate and even a discount too. But guess what's going to be your problem now? Your car that was already worth 50% of what you bought it at, it's going to be worth 10%, dude. That's exactly what happened in 2007, 8, 9, where you could buy a Carrera GT for $2,069,000 and you didn't take it. You fucking idiot, Alejandro. That's what happened. The same thing is about to happen right now. How is that going to fix unemployment? How is that going to fix people's debt that is already sky high as fuck? And remember, you have the right to refinance at lower rates if your credit score deserves it. And guess what? You've been fucking up the entire time, all these years. Your credit score. Getting in debt that you cannot afford. This is what happened in 2008 with the houses. They were so cheap, but no one could qualify for a loan. No one. And because there was no lockdowns and a reason to send you a check for $30 million to be sitting at your house jerking off, guess what happened? Only people with great credit came in and snatched them all, and we made a fucking fortune. The same thing is about to happen again. So when interest rates drop, what do you want to do? Be the first one selling that house, the first one. Get the fuck out and wait. Prices are going to drop on cars and in houses when interest rates come down. And this goes against everything that they're telling you. And then the dollar is going to bounce up, and it's going to absolutely murder every other foreign currency, destroying those countries, making a global financial crisis yet again in the same way that we did back then. Identical. And while the dollar goes up and fucking explodes to the upside, I need you to understand the stock market will absolutely take a gigantic shit, no matter what they tell you, along with Bitcoin and all those things. It's very simple. I'm going to go look at a house right now.